Wait, 1 second. Justin, did you hear about Ryan's new book that he wrote?
No, I'm not.
What's it called, Ryan?
Well, it's called Being Ryan 101.
When's it come out?
September 5th next year.
Oh, that works.
So what? Ones that you can't eat if your food touch.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That's chapter
That's
1.
chapter 1. Chapter 2 is you only can eat on a certain plate with a certain fork.
Okay.
Chapter 3 is how to be oblivious. Yeah. So chapter 5 is you have to be a loner.
A loner.
Yeah. So you actually have to cut off.
But what if you're successful? Like, what if you're successfully in the clique and?
Yeah. So for my advice for those kind of people is they actually have to
Cut it off?
you know, then cut it off, but do it with grace. Go, don't like to say I can't talk to you anymore, but you want to just kind of confront them and say, hey, I'm going on a journey.
I read this book.
I'm going on a journey. I read this book. I'm going on this journey. It has to-do steps. It's called Being Ryan 101. And I would appreciate your support, but I'm going to actually have to, just cut ties with you, at least temporarily, to get myself in fertile soil.
We'll reconnect a few years on Facebook.
Yeah, we'll reconnect. We'll send HBDs. That's fine. But until then, until I'm done pursuing
HBDs.
all the principles in this book, we're gonna have to cut that. It talks more about.
And we'll talk once a year.
Do it.
We'll talk twice a year.
Yeah, yeah.
On birthdays.
It's not like you have to cut them out completely, but you practically have to become a loner. And then chapter 5 actually talks about being how to be obsessed. So if you want to be Ryan, you actually have to develop obsession over things. So it doesn't matter what it is. You can find whatever you want to be, but you actually need to become overly obsessed where it consumes you. I interviewed a guy named
Bob.
What the hell was his name? I forgot his name, but I interviewed him, and it really talks about how he. I don't know what it was. Tony Robbins. So I interviewed Tony Robbins on.
And say, who is he?
So Tony Robbins is he doesn't like to call himself a motivational speaker. I try to call him that, and he flipped out on me. He's like, no, I'm a motivational speaker. And
That's what it sounds like, right?
Yeah, and he was all like defensive about it. He's like, I'm not here to motivate. I'm here to inspire. And anyways, but it's all in the book. You'll see it.
It's in there.
Yeah, it's in there. The full interview between me and it has the dialogue of the full interview. You also can find it on
iTunes.
Link. Yep. There's a link to iTunes and Spotify of the full interview.
But yeah, that's chapter 7.
That's chapter 7. Then you move on to chapter 8. So chapter 8 is overindulgence. So this goes into the techniques of overeating, not knowing when to stop, overconsumption of Coca-Cola, or any kind of soft drink, whoever one. But in the examples, it talks about Coca-Cola, but it could be alcohol. Basic overconsumption of something that will, over the long run, ruin your health. And it talks about how to successfully kind of do that.
Okay.
And then number 10.
9.
9. Chapter 9.
My favorite chapter.
That's right. Chapter 9. Why is that your favorite chapter?
Well, you're about to explain it.
Well, what's your favorite part about it?
Talks about like working out.
Mm-hmm.
Getting your body the six pack, and going once a week or so.
Yeah.
Being really in a lot of pain,
Yeah.
overcoming the pain after that, and then going on and off.
Yeah, right. So it's ironic that it comes right after the whole overconsumption.
Because that's what made you want to work out after.
Exactly. So it has to get you in the right mindset before reading that chapter, where you need to have
the chapter before makes you feel like shit.
Makes you feel like shit. So it makes you feel like you need to go out and go to the gym.
Yes.
It's why the book is designed that way.
Yes.
So in
chapter 9.
In chapter 9, it talks about how you actually need to come up with a program of how to get to the gym a certain amount of time. Here's the catch, and I'm not gonna give it all away. You'll read it in the book.
A sneak peek, though.
A little sneak peek.
Okay.
is that you actually need to spend more time planning going to the gym than actually going.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, there's a full thing
Because
about it.
that's where you see the most calories burned.
Right, you see the most
Pen and
calories
paper.
burned. Yep. You see so much.
Mind over matter.
Right. You gotta prepare yourself. You gotta, all of it comes down to the preparation.
It depends on what
but
water you
It
drink.
has to be over preparation. It's gotta be exactly what time you're gonna go, to what time you're gonna leave, to what days you're gonna go, what body workouts you're gonna be, and also how many reps and how many sets they're gonna be.
So that's all planned out way before.
way before you even go for.
So that takes about 2 hours.
Oh,
The
it takes longer
gym.
than that.
Okay, but the gym only takes.
The gym's like 45 minutes tops.
But how long does that the more important part take?
The more important part, since you do it yearly, you do it yearly, so you actually plan out 5 days a week for 52 weeks in a year, and that actually takes you half the year.
So half of the year,
So half of the year you don't even go.
you're just.
You're
So
just planning out like when you're gonna go, how many calories you have to do each day to the exact point. I mean, it's some work. I mean, you actually have to stay dedicated.
do you go on a diet while you're doing that or
No,
no?
you do not. You plan your diet. That's part of the process.
Planning your diet.
What foods you have to eat, what day, and what meal every single day of the year. It takes half a year to actually complete it.
So that's all in chapter 9.
Right. And,
So
and it also talks about in chapter 10. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. It's called procrastination, and it talks about how to like let your house kind of just sit there and not get cleaned. Talks about how you can just like kind of have like towers. Of
And there's
soda.
pictures in that. There's pictures in that
real
chapter.
life photos.
Boxes.
Full photos of dishes of past the faucet. It's got. Whole
Well, you
thing.
did that only for the
That's
book.
because it took no.
Oh.
It took 6 weeks just to plan the frickin' chapter 9.
Oh, okay.
Talk about the
Yes.
diet. It takes so long, so consuming. You don't have time.
So
to,
chapter 9 was the most consuming chapter
Right.
of all time.
Yeah.
So you have to go through files. The book itself almost didn't come out because you had so many files.
It's funny you say that because both books were actually read simultaneously. So
You did the file book,
what?
the file book, the chapter 9 book itself.
No, it can be a book in itself in the future, but right now it's just kind of a chapter. But it is the lengthiest chapter. I think it's like 39 pages. It's quite lengthy. It's got a bunch of pictures in it too about like how you want it to be. You also got to create this vision board on how you want your body to look and keep it in front of you and everything. That's part of the process.
And how did you do that? Editing?
You can just find it in magazines or online.
Oh, you just take a model.
Yeah, basically a model or something, and kind of like this is like where I want to go.
I did a model with a woman with plastic surgery. That's who I want it to look like. So that's my inspiration.
Right. Okay, Bruce. And and in chapter 10, it's talking about procrastination, and that's kind of goes hand in hand with the thing because actually it talks about in the procrastination chapter that you actually never actually probably will finish that 6 month.
The chapter itself?
The chapter 10 talks about how you're never gonna finish that 6 month preparation process because of procrastination involved in that. So it takes 6 months if you don't procrastinate, and you're actually.
I heard that chapter itself is the hardest chapter to read.
Where'd you hear that?
Through your critics.
Yeah.
Online.
I mean, people talk when you write such a successful.
They stopped reading the book at that chapter.
Yeah, but going, putting yourself out there. The more you put yourself out there, and you're gonna, be a successful person. I mean, it's such a great book, like Being Ryan 101. You're gonna get critics with that, and
Now,
and that's what it talks about in chapter 11 is.
What chapter is the procrastinating?
How to overcome your biggest critic.
Oh, so pretty much if you get past chapter 10, there's great things. There's what, 6 more chapters left?
There's 5 more chapters, and the
5.
rest is kind of bonus.
Bonus, which I love. I love the bonus. I skipped the whole book. Sorry, I skipped the whole book and went right to the bonus.
I'm sure you did. It has each pop in order. It's really cool. So in chapter 11 talks about how to overcome your worst critic.
Who's your worst critic? Yourself?
So actually, your worst critic is actually yourself. All the things that you say about yourself in your mind is actually you talk to yourself more than you talk to.
Was that the hardest chapter to write for you?
I had to really
Dig deep.
into my past. That's one thing I really had to overcome was my own way of overcoming how I kind of saw myself, and how I always saw myself was as negative, and you know what I mean. So it just talks about how to overcome that, how to overcome who you are, and because the way other people see you is usually the way that you see yourself. My own way of overcoming how I kind of saw myself, and how I always saw myself was this negative, and you know what I mean. So it just talks about how to overcome that, how to overcome who you are, and you know, because the way other people see you is usually the way that you see yourself. So that's just number one thing. You just gotta kind of fall in love with yourself, not in an egotistical way, but you gotta fall in love with yourself,
Some people do though.
and that's great. But you just gotta also remain humble at the same time.
So that's chapter.
So it's a very insightful chapter. I actually,
little dark.
It's a little dark. Until the end of the chapter, I have another interview I had with Darren Hardy. He is the owner of Success Magazine. So he actually has a lot of insights on all the successful people in the world. He's interviewed Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Donald Trump, and I actually had the pleasure to sit down with Darren Hardy, and he talks about how.
Where'd you guys sit?
Huh?
Where'd you meet him? Like, where'd you meet him at?
We
Somewhere
met him
fancy?
at the
Bellage?
It was like a wine place. I never even heard of it. He had me go in his calendar because he has a bigger workbook calendar than I do. So I pretty much had to take what I could get.
Yeah.
So.
How long was the interview?
It was only a half hour.
Well, that's pretty good for him.
Yeah, but for him, yeah, exactly. Like getting his calendar half hour, that's money. That's why I documented it, recorded it, and then the full dialogue back and forth is actually in that book. So,
In your chapter.
in that chapter, yeah, overcome your.
What? Chapter 11.
Chapter 11.
So get through chapter 10.
Yeah.
You'll get some good stuff out of chapter 11.
This is where all the kind of the self-growth things, but you have to go through failure to find the success, which is why you have to read 10 chapters of bullshit to find the good stuff, and that's kind of how life is.
It's like life.
It's just like life. You have to go through crap to find the good stuff, right? There's a diamond in the rough everywhere. So in chapter 12, is exactly what it's called. There's a diamond in the rough everywhere.
Yes.
And so that talks about how you actually do need to dig through failure. I mean, there's things about how, we tell, kids going through school how failure is bad. Oh, don't fail. You're never going to succeed if you're going to keep failing your tests and everything. But when you're a kid and you keep falling down when you're trying to walk, you don't say you're a failure. So it's just saying that keep going through your life the way you teach your kids. Oh, it's okay to fail. It's okay to fail. Keep falling forward. Keep on moving forward. And eventually you're going to find that holy grail, that successful nugget that you need to propel your life forward.
I'm not a nugget!
And propel your life forward rather than plummet down to
So what's that chapter called?
rain. What?
Diamond in the Rough.
Diamond in the Rough, right. So then there's chapter 13, which is what was it? Oh, it basically talks about like what your purpose is. I think the chapter says what do you want on your gravestone. So it talks about how you want to be remembered after you die. You would think it would be chapter 15, but it's actually chapter 13 because the 13 is the
the deathly number.
The death number. Yeah. So it talks about how.
Oh yeah, I remember that. You had the 13 on the gravestone on that chapter. That was the picture.
Yeah,
Yes.
the little tomb thing, and it says 13.
And then it says,
it says, how do you want to be remembered?
On
the
the gravestone.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what do you want on your gravestone? And that just talks about the difference you want to make in the world. People take themselves a little bit too serious sometimes, but we are so minuscule on the timeline of Earth. Only here 80 years, but how much do we make a difference in those 80 years? And it's not about the day you're born, it's not about the day you die, but it's about the dash in between. And it goes really into how to make a difference in the world that's suited to you. It could be a ministry, be a pastor, or it could be music, and you can, whatever it may be. You want to touch as many lives as possible. 'Cause that's where true success lies in my mind. And then chapter 14.
There's two more chapters in the bonus one, right? So the
So
final last
chapter
two.
14 and 15 are actually very important. They kind of go hand in hand. So 14 and 15 talks about solidifying relationships and friendships. So now, remember back in the day, you have to actually get rid of people. Now that you actually found a diamond in the rough, you got everything you needed. 14, 15 is about solidifying relationships and friendships. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to have success so much, and you want it so much that you actually shut out everybody forever, because you will have no one to enjoy success with. So, it happens a lot of times with rock stars. They sell everything. They sell their soul to get that record deal, to pursue that music, and they finally become successful, and then they don't have anyone to enjoy it with other than the band member. They abandon their family, they abandon their friends, whatever it may be, to chase that dream, and it became a nightmare. And so it talks about how to solidify the friendships, how to solidify the
Give us an example.
friendships. About what?
Like to keep the friendship and all that.
How to do it. So it talks about a 10-step process. I'm not going to give them all away here. It'll be in the book. But there are a couple I'll give you for free. So number one is to, once a day, reach out to one of your family or friends randomly. And it talks about that because it shows a token of appreciation. And you want to make sure that you stay in touch with people without having a reason to. Especially to the close friends, family, close relatives. Because if you're only going to reach out to them when something's wrong, if you're only going to reach out to them when like it's their birthday, you know
HBD.
what I mean? HBD, then it doesn't seem as authentic. It doesn't seem as genuine of a friendship as if you were to reach out with them and say, hey, you know, how's your day going? How's your work? How's your new job?
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah, whoever it may be, yeah. And that's actually a really good thing to do. And number two talks about how to do it in the right way, kind of like without being overly pushy, but not overly passive. And it goes out into that. And then chapter 16.
No, 15.
No, go ahead. Part 1.
Oh, what was chapter 14?
14 is more like relationships. It kind of talks about like how to
build the relationship,
Build a
first,
relationship.
and then the next one was to keep it.
Right. The 15 is keep it
That's right.
going, keep
That's
it
right.
strong. And then 16 talks about how to have fun. You can't take your life so too seriously, so it's called How to Have Fun. And I talk about all the stories about, you know.
Oh, there's pictures in that one
There's
too.
a lot of pictures.
You going to going to theme parks,
Mm-hmm. And
Bowling.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So you remember, there's a bunch of pictures in there, and it's jam packed with like things that that we laugh at and
Almost like Pops.
yeah, like pops.
Explaining the
eats,
Pops.
looks. Yeah, each one actually has an explanation to it.
Yes.
Only for the first 100 though, because it actually ran out of printing room and I couldn't afford the rest. But the rest will be online. I promise you that.
Where can they find that? Where can they find that?
On our YouTube channel. There's gonna be a link right underneath there. You should see it. Which is like a website and brings to referrals and stuff. And then 16 does pretty much just all the fun stuff, and 17 is the epilogue. Nothing too glamorous. Just kind of like if you want to keep on pursuing this, you will have to probably order more books. Because one thing always leads to another. That's marketing 101.
So this book is called.
And this is called Being Ryan 101. Check
And
it
how
out.
much is that? How much is that?
Oh, it's
how much is
it's
selling?
a modest price. For all the knowledge and all the insight that I've been exposed to, interviews with Darren Hardy, interviews with Tony Robbins, my own entrepreneurial experience around multimillionaires myself, this could range for a value of $99.99. I'm gonna chop it down for you.
Oh,
because
you
I love
are.
you guys. Only because I love you guys and you guys.
$75?
Yeah, you guys since you stuck through this whole whopping video, and it tells me that you're serious, and it really does. So I'm gonna give it to a discounted price of $22.97, and that
After tax?
plus tax, shipping, and handling. But the inside in this, you will not regret it. Go out and get that book, Being Ryan 101. It's gonna change your life. Thank you for watching.
Hey, Darren Hardy.